And not my brand deals on it.
It's just unreal, eh? Because you can't keep running here, eh?
Right, live stream is online, so we will just stand for the karakia and then we will get into the meeting.
Taka te hau ki te uru, taka te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tai, e hia ke ana te atakura, e tio he huka, he hauhunga, te hei Māori ora.
Good afternoon, everybody. We officially start the meeting at 4:32 p.m. this day, the 16th of February. So first up, we have apologies. Don't think we have any apologies today, but just to note that we have Community Board Member James Goff and Councillor Sam McDonald on Zoom today.
Thanks. And I might need to be an early departure, Mr. Chair, but
thanks, James.
Cheers.
Could I just get a mover for that? Nicola, David, all in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Declarations of interest. There have been no declarations of interest noted, but if anything comes up during the meeting, just raise it with us and let us know. Item number 3, confirmation of previous minutes. Could we move on to that? David's happy to move those. A seconder?
Yeah, happy to second.
Nicola, all in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Right, with that we move on to item number 4, being our public forum. So first public forum up today is the South Island Wildlife Hospital. So we have Mika, Dave and Jenny.
Jenny might be.
Jenny's online. Okay, well yeah, take a seat. Yes. And that includes so a public forum is 5 minutes, including some time for questions. So do you want to sit? Or do you want to stand? How do you want to
Take a seat?
On your picker.
Oh, just give him a look.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to zip through. Sorry, mate.
Look, my name's Dave Matheson. I'm a retired veterinarian, trustee of our wildlife hospital, and helped found it back in 2025. We treat injured or damaged wildlife, New Zealand wildlife. 95% of it is birds such as kea, kiwi, those sort of animals. The hospital is situated at Willowbank Wildlife Reserve in the car park, and we are a separate entity from Willowbank itself. The last 10 years, we've had an incredible increase in the number of patients that we have each year, getting very close to 700 a year. We have 1 full-time vet and 2 part-time vets, and 45 volunteers that 99% of them come from Christchurch. A number of them in this Waimāero area at Fendalton as well. They accept patients from all over the top half of the South Island, and that obviously includes the ones that are brought into us from particularly Christchurch, people when they're out in the country, out at the sea and Littleton Harbour. They bring any birds that they find, they bring to us to treat.
Including a lot from Travis Wetland.
We don't receive any money from the government, and we just did have to exist by funding through all the various organisations. We get donations from charities, foundations, individual public members, and organisations such as yourself. I'd like to introduce Micah Jensen here, who's one of our wildlife veterinarians. She's been out of university for 18 years. Before she got into general practice, she worked as a registrar at Massey University on wildlife work, and has been working in all the zoos in the North Island and a lot of the wild dog places, and been working with us for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, cool. Well, I might skip through a few. So what we'll do is we'll skip through to some of the amazing pictures. So just as a bit of a background, I've worked with Auckland Zoo, Wellington Zoo, Hamilton Zoo, Wild Base, and the Dunedin crew. Every one of these cities has a growing wildlife clinic, and they go out to release. And over my career, if you click again, I'll give you some nice pictures. Over my career, we have seen beautiful wildlife hospitals come out of them, and they're basically a really great opportunity for the community to get involved. It's a community volunteer setup. There's a lot of education involved, but more than anything, it's a different method. I've worked at zoos, I love zoos, but you cannot beat taking wildlife and releasing it. And so what we're really lucky is that, I can go through the admissions and so forth, but basically this is what I want to show you. We are different from all of those places in that we are entirely running on volunteers. We have a few vets, they're the only ones who are paid on the roster, and that's because we have to come in with a level where I basically before this taught vet students, and I've taught on those levels. So we are training everybody up to do amazing wildlife work, and we have the coolest volunteers on the planet, and it's all from around the Christchurch area, and they're all throwing in amazing hours. And what's really powerful is that we're not a zoo, we're not a university, we're aiming from like educating 4-year-olds all the way through to 90-year-olds coming through. We're entirely community-based, and we have a massive impact with outreach programs. A lot of these people have gone on to train up into becoming veterinarians, conservationists, so forth, and others just love it and turn up to help anyway. So if you flick through, I can give you a quick background. We have things like, I'll just give you one case example. It's a bit weird, but a swan around here got an arrow in its neck. We had, for an example of that case, for 10 days, communities were coming up to us and saying, look, they're there, we're trying to catch it. We had multiple people calling and calling for 10 days. They ended up catching it. They brought it to us. This is one of our volunteers who stayed. She's an ex-nurse, and she stayed till midnight doing a surgery to remove the arrow from the trachea. This is high quality veterinary care. And then that bird, Benny, we called him, got released. The archery club was so sad about it, they donated money to us. We had a massive relief. So these are the kind of outreach cases. This is us releasing birds with the Coast Guard. A lot of the seabird wrecks that we currently have one. You have these birds land in paddocks, and then they end up coming to us. We'll treat them up and we'll get them out. And, here's us cleaning with penguins watching. People turn up. They have really amazing impact moments. Problem is no one can see it because we're all behind closed doors. However, we're wildly funding to make a wildlife clinic, and I guarantee you, based on what's happened to everyone else, we're going to get there. But we need council support and we need community support. So we would love your vote for trying to get us a volunteer coordinator, because at the moment we have someone who does that in addition to their full-time job, and it's just really, really, really so powerful. So if you click through a few quickly, I'm going to give you a quick little look. These are the sort of things. This is a tawa we've been treating. These are 2 of our patients, and they're going off back to the wild. So one of the most powerful things is not only are we taking wildlife, we're putting them back into the wild. And you get to see moments like that. And we work with Ngāi Tahu, we work with community groups, we get all of those things, so we have moments like that. And this is not a keep to look at situation. This is a treat and release, and it's a magic moment. If you keep, they're having a party. Should we just flick through the pictures of this? This is an example of a spoonbill. If you just keep flicking through, you'll see this is one of our community releases. All the little kids, if you flick through rather quick, you'll see this guy coming out. So these are the kind of community moments you get, and you get this beautiful interaction, and it is really powerful. And we have massive volunteer support to do this. Over 1,000 hours a year. Feel free to just keep flicking through so you guys can look at the photos. 1,000 hours a year, 6 people a shift, 6 hours a shift, and then 52 days a year. People turning up on Christmas to do this. And we work with a lot of different community organizations. And these are all the kind of patients we treat. We aim for critically endangered, but we will, depending on our numbers, work our way through. So, I mean, if you just flick through these photos, you'll see that these guys are telling a story better than us. That is a rare white morph of a giant petrel for any of you twitchers out there. And if you keep flicking through, we're basically desperately saying, help us, support us. We are really hoping to get your vote. Thank you.
A time for 1 or 2 quick questions. Anyone have anything?
Fire away.
Just a question, are you going around all of the community boards for funding, or have you just targeted us specifically?
No, we're going to everybody. We are, so honestly, something like this doesn't get out the ground without massive community support. We get doc support, we get everybody. Bunnings drops off stuff. We have people turning up from different areas of the community doing donations. So we have different layers of gold, silver, and bronze sponsorship. So this is one of those things that you have to have community support to get it off the ground. But you have a small drop. All of the funding for something this big comes from extra fundraising work, which we do. And we have an amazing fundraising crew that do it.
One last-
By the way,
When you have your patients come in, have you got a database where you've been able to see where these different birds have come from in different parts of the area? Like, for example,
absolutely. If you flick back, we can give you a graph that we put up there. I realized I only had 5 minutes, so I went with beautiful pictures, to be fair. But basically our catchment, if you go that one, sorry, one back again, that one. So these are where the majority of our birds are coming from. We've got majority coming from Christchurch, and then Kaiapoi, Kaikoura, Oxford, Waimāero, West Coast, Akaroa, Banks Peninsula, Canterbury. But honestly, we will take very rare birds from the greater North Island and down. But the majority of our stuff is Christchurch based. And basically you are just one of the drops of council that we need support from. And what we usually have is based on other cities I've worked in, it's just beautiful to see how many people will donate for something like this. And you can't even get there without council. You can't get there without good iwi relations. You can't get there without massive community support. So this is a very, very big project long term, but at the moment we are grassroots at the same space all of those other clinics have been. I know, I've worked in them, and it's really exciting space. So we can either back it in Christchurch or go, now we'll go to another city.
Right, fantastic. Thank you, Rush, for coming on. Right, next public forum we have is Fred DeMarco. Would like to come and take a seat.
I'm so sorry, I have to get back to the.
No, you don't.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah. Jimmy.
Right. Yours.
Thank you for allowing me time to speak. I'm here to discuss the new Christchurch Boys High School artificial turf, lights, and basketball court. As I only have 5 minutes, I hope you have had time to review the background information I sent through. In addition, over the past 2 months, there have been multiple emails sent to the Fendalton members of this board, including the City Council Representative David Cartwright. It's extremely disappointing there's not been a single meaningful reply to any of these. Today, I'm looking to see if this board or the City Council can get some project adjustments and limitations on use of the Boys High facility to reduce the impact on local residents. The construction of this vanity project, without any consideration of the local residents, is a disgusting display of arrogance by Boys High. The school never once informed the local residents of any aspect of the project. The back of Boys High School resembles a prison yard. The school now has 3 basketball courts behind 2.4 meter silver metal chain link fencing, complete with 6 high-intensity LED light poles and 8 very large speakers. CCC guidance for facilities of this type built on council land says it is important to build these facilities in non or low residential areas. In comparison, this facility is in a purely residential area, less than 25 meters from some properties. Boys High, as a site designated for education purposes, was required to get council approval of a project outline plan. This was, in my opinion, wrongly approved by the council. The CCC did not make any change recommendations, as they have a right to do. They just greenlighted the project despite its obvious flaws and negative impacts. The first area I'd like to discuss is the 18-meter high FIFA grade LED lights. The council wrongly approved the installation of these lights with the implausible observation, and I quote, "The effect of the external lighting on the amenity of surrounding residents and on users of the adjacent roads will be acceptable." Deputy Headmaster Craig Dunnan has said to a local resident they plan to use the turf and lights every day in winter until 10 p.m., as they have a right to do. Just because you have a right to do something does not make it the right thing to do. For 100 years on the current site, Boys High teams have been able to practice and play without the use of lights. Boys High, as a publicly owned entity, has a moral obligation to consider the impact of local residents, especially when making a monumental change to the status quo. Boys High did not build a multi-million-dollar FIFA-certified lighted turf solely for educational purposes. They could have spent half as much and still had an all-weather surface perfectly suited for school curriculum and sports. Similar facilities in schools around the country are typically rented to outside entities. I note the other schools are not located in residential areas. As opposed to Mr. Dunnett, Nick Hill, the Boys High headmaster, has said no consideration has been given to any outside use. As such, I urge the council to consider restricting the use of Boys High only with the time cap of 7 p.m. Boys High students should not need to use it later than that time. I appreciate I moved near a school. Yet previously, during school hours, there was only an expected buzz of activity. Nothing overly intrusive. Nights, weekends, and school holidays are usually quiet and uneventful. Locals can now look forward to the additional traffic, noise, trash, and significant light pollution if the facility is rented at night or on weekends. You have the chance to change this. The council approved the removal of 3 large trees on Toohey Street, one with special status designation. A very slight change recommendation would have still allowed for the building of the project, yet saving the trees and the character of the area. Boys High cutting down these trees with council blessing was totally negligent and unnecessary. The CCC said the removal of the trees and overall project would, and I quote, have an acceptable visual effect on the character and appearance of the site and the surrounding area. Looking at before and after photos I sent, the look is not even comparable. The outline plan also misled the council by calling for the building of 3 tennis courts with a provision for basketball courts. The basketball courts were built at the same time as the tennis, so it's not just a provision. Headmaster Hill has written that these are not basketball courts. The hoops, markings, and constant thump, thump, thump clang suggest otherwise. Any honest person with an ounce of intelligence would say that these are basketball courts. So what can be done? The city council should limit the use of the pitch and lights to Boys High only. Any other use will be a huge disruption to local residents. Remember, it was approved for educational, not commercial purposes. Lights should be limited to no later than 7 p.m. for school use. Loudspeakers should be limited to emergency or whole school assembly use only. The schools should do the decent thing and either remove or relocate the basketball courts. They should all undertake planting to attempt to restore the nature of Toohey Street, which was brazenly destroyed by the unnecessary removal of the trees. This planting should be done by qualified professionals, as I know that done on Cahoo Road are all now dying. Thank you for your time. Any questions?
Great, thank you very much for that. Any questions from anybody on any of that?
Just around the location, where it is close to housing. And I just had a quick look on a map as well. Over at St. Bede's, their hockey pitch is just as close, if not closer to housing.
Actually, it's not, but the, you also fail to realize that St. Bede's is on private land, Boys High is on public land.
Right.
As well. And if you also look at the light stands at St. Bede's, they're about half the size and they don't put out the same lighting as well.
Right, okay, yeah, that changed, because that's used all the time. And we, I was on the board in that area and we didn't get complaints there, but that's, yeah, if it's different lights, then it's different, yeah.
Yeah, I've also looked at the distance to the houses, and most of the houses have a much larger buffer than the Boys High ones do.
Right.
And the Boys High will affect a significantly larger number of homes as well, where it's situated.
Right. Okay.
David? Thank you very much for coming in. Look, this is obviously a huge concern for all the local residents. Some of the information that we've been provided is that through the Ministry of Education, a lot of the consenting issues the council hasn't been able to touch or have any influence of. Are you aware of that that information that we've been fed, or have you had anyone provide you with that information?
Trying to get information from Boys High has been extremely difficult. We asked them, to come forward and sort of say what their plan were, and they always said, well, we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
And we submitted some documents to the council and only recently received the outline plan of the project, so we're able to finally look at that and see what was approved. But I have not seen anything from the ministry though on that.
Okay. Have you had the opportunity to have a one-on-one or the locals with the headmaster or with the school in any way, shape or form?
Well, we first asked for information from the headmaster, and he was not very forthcoming with any of that. And we felt that a meeting would just be more of the same, only in person, And we wanted things in writing more than just between him and us with no real record of what was being said.
So is the intermediary from here, some form of mediated meeting between the residents and the city council to help, not sit down, Christchurch Boys High and the residents to get some sort of good communication between the two parties?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was hoping that, something the board and the city council could coordinate or talk to Boys High and see if they, would do the right thing.
I think you'd have to involve the residents though.
Get the residents, we did offer a meeting with you before, before Christmas that was never responded to, so.
Again, it comes back to the feeling that, or the information that we've received, that this is a solely education issue. And I note on one of the emails that did go between the correspondence between a lot of the parties is that Nick Hill did say that he would lead in all correspondence. So it wasn't necessarily for myself or the council to continue to respond to the requests for information when the school had made a position to take the lead.
Have you found out anything through discussions with Boys High?
No, only what I've researched myself, and the fact that with the Ministry of Education, correct me if I'm wrong, but they come under a dispensation or an exemption within the planning code. Not sure if I'm using the right terminology, where for all intents and purposes, the council, the school can build any way, shape or form. Doesn't necessarily, it's a rubber stamp from the council, doesn't need to seek permission or authority from the council.
I think this sort of, I wouldn't say, this sort of means that any school in Christchurch can build anything it wants, where it wants, and really does not really care about the local residents. I would think that as members of the local community, the board would, no, not the board, the school would have a concern for the impact on the local residents. And this was built with no concern whatsoever. The residents were never told. The outline plan was approved on the 25th of December, and I think it was the 30th of December, those 3 trees came down. Okay, I believe that they didn't tell the local residents because they knew that there would probably be some opposition or maybe some hoping to change it. And I think they did, and if they're allowed to do it, then, I think this can set a precedent that we really don't want to set in this city.
So we got, I'm not sure when it came to us, but we've got some staff advice in terms of the particular Christchurch Boys High issue that you're mentioning around the district plan and the rules and where council's responsibility and ability to influence kind of starts and ends. We can share that with you. And potentially what else we can do is we can potentially facilitate writing a letter to the school board of trustees, because there are conditions as a part of that plan that the school needs to meet around noise and light pollution and all those types of things. So then potentially we can, through that medium, encourage them to make sure that they're meeting those. And then also, the talks about the tree plantings for mitigation and things like that, like we can raise that as well. And then we can look to facilitate that on your behalf.
Yeah, the lights, I mean, the Boys High, if they'd come back with us and maybe even given us some information to begin with, we would have, gone down maybe a different path, but we had to research everything ourselves. So we went down different paths and we found different things. And one of the things is there's certain light requirements, but even with the light requirements, we're still staring at these extremely bright lights across the street, which are probably 40 meters from the side window of my house, and out the front window of the house, probably about 35 meters, I'm looking at a pitch where I'm closer to the pitch than some seats are in Old Trafford. I mean, so it's sort of, it just seems, and if they could be using that till 10 p.m., that just doesn't seem right for the local neighborhood, which, like I said, used to be nights, weekends, and holidays used to be very quiet and peaceful.
Well,
I mean, if the Deansbush market has to shut down at 12 o'clock because people were upset that families were having lunch at 1 o'clock, I'm sure that something could be done about this.
Yeah, I guess because for that's council. So the Deansbush is a council facility, whereas in this is kind of it's a different scenario. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't. From the residents' perspective, it makes no difference. Right. Any other questions or comments?
Happy to facilitate any mediation meeting going forward if it's required.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for coming in and.
Thank you for your time.
Team here to get you this information that you have. Cheers, thank you. Right, next item on the agenda, presentation of petitions. There were no petitions presented, so with that, we move on to staff reports. And our first item on the staff reports today is a tree planting plan for Yaldhurst Bush. Toby.
Happy to move.
No? Well, we'll let them stand up. Did anyone have any particular questions relating to that project? No? Okay, Aaron's happy to move. Can we get a seconder for that one?
Yeah, I'll second.
Lucy? All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Fantastic. Easy. Thanks very much.
I've got the next report.
You've got the next one as well, the item number 8, the urban forest tree planting, the Parkham, Waterford, Glentarrant, Grayshot, Inglefield, Darrett, Grant Armstrong, Dewitt, Lassiter, and the reserves. Quite a few.
Yeah.
Right, anyone have any particular questions around that one as well? No?
I do have a quick
Sure.
question. Has there been any, are we at the stage in this process where we're getting community feedback around where these trees are planted specifically in the reserves?
We got some feedback, but not a huge amount, mostly positive. I think there was one comment about Grant Armstrong that said they didn't want the park to change and stay how it was. All the rest were just feedback on maybe some of them around maintenance of the existing trees, preference for more natives and things like that, but the rest was pretty much largely positive. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great. I was actually asking some questions around the Glentarrant and Grayshot and a few of those literally just the other week, and then it pops up on the agenda. It was kind of fortuitous, which is great to see because there's a lot of green space there. It'll be great with some trees in a few years. All right, well, I'm happy to move that one if we can have a seconder. David to second, all in favour? Aye. Against? Carried. Thanks, Toby. Appreciate it. Right, next one.
Jason,
Yes.
just, it might be out of order, but since Anthony's here, should we ask for a really quick update on that predator fence?
Should we, is Anthony here to leave now or?
Yeah, no, it's not.
I mean, it could be a 2-minute, if it's a 2-minute, just an update on how it moves forward.
Sure, it's not gonna hurt.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, just a wee aside from the agenda items there.
Yeah.
All right.
Since he's here.
While you're here.
It was raised last week and
I sent this information to somebody.
Yes.
We've built about 2/3 of it. About 2/3 of the fence on the east, north and west boundaries. So the only bit to go is the south boundary. So it's about maybe a kilometre of fence. The price, I mean, we've done the most tricky part on the north side so far. It's a very complicated earthworks and rebattering and a lot of costs went into the preparation, but just
for everyone, the Sticks Mill Reserve.
Yeah, sorry.
Just in case anyone didn't.
The south side's pretty easy. It's just behind the transfer station, hooking into where the fence finishes off near the Hussey Road Dog Park. So it's we want to do it. There's no funding in the long-term plan for it or the annual plan at the moment. So it should be prioritised as part of that process going forward. But there could be a range of corporates or benefactors that want to support this project as well. It's quite a high-profile project. So New Zealand Conservation Trust, Limited Laboratory Trust, Willowbank Foundation, they're all sort of working in that area and they all support the project. So once that fence is in, we can do some really cool stuff on that.
So ballpark cost?
I think
1.2, something like that.
So that included recladding the northern fence, because that's just a cat and dog fence only for various reasons. So it's probably 20 years old now, so it's getting towards the end of its life. So take the cladding off, put exclude all mesh on, so that will do the whole lot, including river crossings or treatments through there. Yep.
Awesome, thank you very much. Yeah, it's we're definitely interested to see what we can do to try and support that. So we'll have some conversations and see what. Thanks for talking to that.
Thank you.
Right, with that aside, we now move on to item number 9, tree removals to stick strain naturalisation. Olga and
Online, yep.
Hello.
Hello, good
Um,
evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'll leave with you. Is there kind of anything specifically you wanted to mention about that one, or are you happy to take it as read?
I think we're happy to take it as read unless anyone's got any questions. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions on that one? No? Okay, that's great. Could I get a mover for that one, please? David, happy to move. Seconder?
Yep.
Aaron, all in favour? Against? Carried. Fantastic, team. Thank you very much.
Appreciate that. Thanks so much. Bye.
All right, moving on to item number 10. Teddy Street, pedestrian crossing improvements. Gortham.
So evening all. So this report is regarding pedestrian path near the Kotare Street, Puriri Street intersection. So as we all know, we have a refuge island on Kotare Street near its intersection with Puriri Street. But at the moment, we don't have a curb cut down on the eastern side of Puriri, thereby causing some accessibility difficulties for certain road users. So this proposal involves, there is one cut down on the western side, but there's nothing on the eastern side. So this involves removing the existing cut down and building a new pedestrian path on both sides with new cut downs and tactiles. So the new one will connect with the existing footpath and will be in line with the pedestrian desire lines, and also will improve accessibility for all types of road users, especially people with some mobility challenges. So we couldn't install a new path opposite the existing cut down on the western side because of the presence of the power pole. So that's the reason we are doing a new one. And since this one doesn't involve any new restrictions or any major changes, so we felt like community consultation for this one was not required because we're just upgrading the existing facilities. So yes, this for the new path here, and we request community board approval and happy to take any questions.
I was going to say, were there any questions from the local board members in that area? No? Is that Fendalton? Oh, is that still Fendalton?
That's Fendalton. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Well, I did have one little question. I just wanted to make sure I'm looking at this correctly. Because I can't tell, I don't think that, I'm not sure if that car is parked or not, but are any car parks being removed with this?
No, because on Kotare, we already have yellow, no stopping restrictions because of the cycle lane and bus stop. And we have a little bit extending into the intersection as well. We are not touching any extents of that.
Great. No, I'm happy with that then.
All right, can I get a mover for that one, please? David to move.
David second.
Bridget to second. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Right, Waimaero Road intersection. Gemma.
Lachlan Bevan from Traffic Operations Team. Chairman of the WAIM today, so I'm filling in. I'm happy to take the report as read if it's.
Okay, does anyone have any questions on that particular one? Is this the Waimaero one?
Yeah.
We've already started.
Some of the work started, yeah, by just and Waimaero.
How does that place is approving it now?
It's the work that we're doing at the moment is upgrade work through our traffic signals renewal stuff. So it's done under officer delegation.
Jason, I'm more than happy to move these if you like.
Okay.
I'm happy to second.
Right. One question, but
Yeah. I just got a quick question, sorry. We've also heard that there's supposed to be another report coming in around the intersection sort of Glendowie and Heaton.
We're still investigating that. When we reach a solution there, we'll come to the board with that.
Do we have a time frame as to when we'll get there?
These other intersections are more critical to get done quickly. It's Jim's project, so I don't want to commit it to anything that just can't deliver, but it will be in the near future.
Question on the next one. Oh yeah. All right. Aaron?
So apparently there's a crash there this morning. Is that
I
fault of the traffic management or not? Do you know?
don't know the full details of that. Sorry, I just was aware that something had happened there, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
or it shut down the whole intersection, so it was peak time chaos. Okay.
All right. Can I get a mover for that one?
Hey, one small question, Jason, if that's right.
Sure, James.
Just in the second design, just with the in only from Waimairi Road into Jeffreys Road. I just know, obviously this looks good.
I
and
think
there's-
that's an extra agenda item, James. Is that item 11? On the same report? Oh. Oh, so, but is that the same report though?
Yeah. My take is it was the same item, but
Okay, sure.
I thought it was just the attachment B for the same item.
Yep.
It's admittedly it's a far cheaper portion of it. But it's just minor question is that is it still easy enough or workable for a vehicle to left-hand turn in there just because the angle looks like it's quite tricky, or does that potentially invite a problem where cars might go up onto the curb or something if they're trying to turn in? I understand it's pretty low volume. But
yeah, we've done vehicle tracking for those movements, which indicates that it is possible.
Cool. All right, well, I trust your modelling. So yeah, no, that's all good. Thank you very much.
What's the reason behind realigning the end of Jeffreys Road?
Oh, so we can get more space in there to widen the crossing. It's a heavily used facility, and it was designed, you know, sort of 25 years ago, and there's not a lot of room for people to wait on the southern side of the road there. So that's the intent, is trying to provide a bit more space in there for the crossing.
So is that where you talk about the cars are waiting at the crossing?
No, pedestrians and cyclists waiting to use the crossing.
Is there a problem at the moment with so many pedestrians? And when are we starting this work?
We'd hope to start in the next few weeks.
Next few weeks?
Yeah, very soon, yeah.
Tomorrow, isn't it?
Tomorrow?
Right, I've seen et cetera, and signage already.
There's some enabling works, yeah.
So the question would be then, generally, if we had feedback on this and it's starting tomorrow or in 2 weeks, is there actually any opportunity to feed into this to change it?
It's your decision to make whether you want it to proceed. It's board's opportunity.
And then what would happen if we didn't?
We would undertake the upgrade works that we have to do on the signals, but we'd have to stick with the existing alignment as well.
And then potentially it would increase the cost and delay the project and whatnot, the preparatory work.
So secondary question. So if we've got the volume of people heading what is in essence north, and we need a larger waiting area to the south, should we not be then making the funnel at the top of the screen or at the northern end larger?
It's yeah. They'll be the same width. Yeah, it introduces some complications because it's Kiwi Rail corridor, and well, the council leases that part, at least is my understanding from Kiwi Rail. And we've been undergoing a whole different kind of consultation and engagement process around that.
I guess look, it all seems fine to me. I understand the intent of it. I guess the only thing is just having the project coming in for approval as close to the start date as it is, and potential delays it causing things like that, it gives probably the community a little bit of consternation that things are essentially ready to roll out within a week or two, and there not being any allowance for if the board decide to leave it on the table because they had some concerns, or something did come up, you know, with our review or our discussion with some of our residents around the issue, which might cause those delays. So it's probably just some feedback from us on that one.
Understand that.
David?
Also, can you talk to me through about how you might have acquired the contract for procurement to do it? Is it these things put out to tender? Are we looking at hours of day of working? Are we methodology, those types of things to try and achieve the best outcome?
Given the time frame, my understanding is this one was direct appointed.
So potentially we get the councillors getting ripped off with money?
I guess given the time frame that we want this stuff to be in place before the other works in the area start around June, we're a little bit limited as to how quickly we can do it.
And who's controlling the other works?
Sorry?
So
the other works are
pipeline. Obviously, we're in control of that, though, aren't we?
We are, yes. It's
David.
Transport. It's through it's water work as well.
It might be do you want, Jason, sorry to cut in, it might just be worth, just so the board, like, I know exactly what you're saying, and I get this all came because we had the issues with the right turns from basically the Avonhead side onto Memorial Ave, and Lynette and the team undertook to go and do this pre-work to avoid the problem when the actual work started as well. So a lot of the right turns and stuff they've done sort of proactively. So I know what you mean, but it's probably generated as a request from us going, actually, we've often are reactive to this stuff and it takes a lot longer. So I think I know exactly what everyone's saying, but it's probably generated as a result of that extra work that we required. And we did say to the team, please get on and prevent slowing up more traffic as a result of other work happening in the area. But Jacob might be able to correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I was just going to say, even when we direct point, we compare against prices that we've had before and rates that we've had before. So we're not getting ripped off. We are able to compare apples with apples against previous jobs.
So I have a follow-up question.
Right, last question, let's move on.
We're approving the whole thing, all the traffic layout. So, because we've talked about, doing preemptive works to stop, having to do that once the Three Waters team's been through and the roading team. So, in terms of the design, like the layout itself, that's what we're approving today, or just the lights and the signals going in?
The approvals for the entire layout and the upgrade works.
Okay, all right. I think that's enough questions. Yeah, based off of Sam's context there, I'm happy to move that one. If I can get a seconder.
Yep, no worries.
Let's get a second. All in favour? Against? Carried. Thanks very much, team, for those questions. Right, that moves us on to item number 12.
Pretty straightforward too. I'm happy to move them. It's pretty straightforward. They can't stop there anyway. So yeah, I'm happy to move.
Okay.
Sorry, unless there's questions or anything.
Sure. Can I get a seconder for that one, please, with James to move? David to second. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Sandra.
Item number 13, property disposal. Wanted to not be in the office. Property
Happy to
disposal.
move, Jason.
Yeah. Was there anything in particular you wanted to raise? We could just take that as read.
Take it as read.
Good. Sam, you're happy to move, did I hear you say?
Yeah,
Always.
pretty straightforward. Yep.
Okay.
Always happy to move a property, son.
Yeah. How you do?
Bring us more.
Second it then, just to.
Second there, Aaron to second. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you very much. All right, with that, we move on to the board area report, Marianne.
Thank you. Happy to take it as read and answer any questions. We've got staff here if you have any questions of them.
Does anyone have any questions on the area report? No, none today. All right. I am happy to move that. If I could get a seconder, please.
Well, I wonder, sorry, Jace, I just wonder if Marianne, if this is the right time I mean, I know we've got the report on rubbish and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But just whether this is the right time to raise around that fly tipping stuff I sent through, or do you want that in elected members?
You can probably talk about it here. Yeah.
Is it all right? Because then I'd probably just request, yeah, so we've just had some feedback through, I'm just bringing it up on my other computer, just around, we're getting a bit more fly tipping in the area. So we had 10 used car tyres at Ferrier Park left over the weekend, and it wasn't Ben either. And a couch.
I snapped and solved them on Sunday morning or whatever it was.
And a couch at Staley Reserve. And I guess it would just be to understand if this, so I've had those feedback. I'd be quite keen to understand from the staff, if we could get an action through, is this an increase in the area? And if there's anything we can actually do about it. I know it's really tough because you've got to be there to see people do it. But there's a massive cost to council with it as well. And I'd just be keen to see, Marianne, if there's a way we can have a look at that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll look into how many tickets are coming in. With the discussion that's been happening online around it, are people being encouraged to report it by a snap, send, solve, or by the council's website. Because it's helpful for us if people are actually making complaints and reporting it, rather than just talking about it on the Facebook page. So
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That costs money.
Yeah.
If it's reported, then we send out a contractor to pick it up and they go dump it and charge us for the dumping and the picking up.
fair enough. It's just for us to have that evidence
So,
that there are
They're
lots of
tracked,
examples of it happening, lots of cases of it happening.
I think a
Yeah,
lot of yeah,
I
sorry.
suspect it is. I suspect it is because there'll be a lot of people that don't comment on Facebook but see the mess and then log it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
No, we can certainly look into that and
Yeah, cool. That'd be great.
yeah.
Right, do you wanna, should we get a heat map, Sam, of our whole board areas? Just of what, for the last year or 6 months or
Yep,
whatever?
we can do that.
And we can see what's been reported. It'll be handy, I think.
Well, the other thing would be, you know, like and we just, I remember when we used to do it and we've sort of gone away from it because of the way we use rubbish recycling and stuff. But, you know, is there still do we need to look as a council again at whether there's that pickup day? Because if people are just going to dump stuff, it might be cheaper. And I think, Aaron, you might have a notice of motion working its way through the system.
Yeah, I do.
From probably a year or two ago that we might need to chase up.
Yeah, my one, Sam, was for people, individuals or groups to be allowed to, if they see it, take a photo, then when they're going to the dump, they can dump it and not be charged. But for some reason it's a problem. Got to get a license in advance, get a note from the council.
But I know what you mean, Sam. Back in the day, we used to have like the skip day, and there'd be skips put in local reserves and parks, and people could use that opportunity to get rid of some of the
cleanup day.
Yeah. And it would just be, you know, like maybe it would be worth us having a think as a board if it's a way to kind of
have community cleanups.
Yeah, like whether it's a way to kind of keep our community sort of the way we like it. Whether there's, you know, merit in us looking at pursuing that as a board as well. So maybe if that could all sort of come back as part of it, Marianne, that would be pretty cool. Perfect, thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Jace.
Any other questions on that? No? Great. I am happy to move that one. If I could get a seconder, please. Bridget, second. All in favour? Great. And with that, we move on to elected members information exchange. Does anyone have anything they would like to share?
I'll lead with three. Everybody might have noticed we did a notice motion council around Clearway on Memorial Ave. So the intent is similar to Catholic's Road or Carlton Mill Road, those types of areas, where on certain times, on certain days, one side of the road or other might have no parking. Just to expedite traffic up and down Memorial Ave. So staff will be coming to here sometime soon to do a presentation or arrange some community feedback to help. Obviously the congestion is pretty terrible. Second, sorry?
No, so because that's the point where it goes from double lane to single lane back to double
Correct,
lane.
Yep. So we have a look at it. Second one, I've had 2 or 3 conversations with Holly Lee Retirement Home, sort of Tui Street, recently around a couple of issues. One I think is solved. The second one is on Tui Street, they've got quite a bit of traffic congestion or speeding traffics, either going from Tui Street, from Fendalton Road to Tui Street towards Boys High or Boys High back to Fendalton Road, and they're wanting to have an investigation if we can perhaps get something started in there around, they were ideally after a speed bump, but a potentially greater clearing on their way that some of the older residents are coming out, so maybe removing one park to the right or something like that would be ideal. Third one is out here, Chepstow Street. We've had a resident talk to us about literally at the 10 section increasing the yellow lines. So I might send Aidan an email about that if we extend it. That's pretty much me.
Anyone else got something? I had one I just wanted to raise is that you might remember it was either the last term or the end of the term before, we used $5,000 of our funding to get a big belly bin put into Bishopdale Park when they were being rolled out to start with. Those have been removed from Bishopdale Park and we're back to the regular old plastic bin scenario inside of a bin. And the problem which we keep encountering is that over the weekends, the parks are so highly used that they are completely jammed full and there is rubbish blowing around the park in the immediate vicinity and it looks terrible. And it's been an ongoing issue for years, essentially. I have a feeling the big belly bins have been failing when pizza boxes and similar things get put in them and it jams them up. So I'll talk to Marianne and Aidan afterwards and I'll flick an email through to see if we can get a general report on the success of big belly bins and like what the learnings are from that experience, because the proposition at the time was because they have some sensors in them that it's possible for the contractors to know when they need to be emptied, so we don't have contractors going to parks checking bins that are empty. There are still obviously big belly bins in all over the place where it's potentially not as much of an issue, but yeah, I'd like to understand what exactly is going on at Bishopdale Park and then also have a conversation around expanding the bin capacity, because clearly there isn't enough capacity in Bishopdale Park as an example on the weekends, and we need more put in there. So I've got some photos I've seen through and it's an absolute disgrace. It looks like a dump site, so it's not great. So that was mate.
Jason, just on that, so, and I'm sorry to drag it out, but so are we saying we put in the new bins?
Yep.
That the board paid for, and now they've removed the new bins?
Correct.
So
But
why have
they
we?
put back an old bin. See,
We've got the old style bins that have a front on them and that's wheel out the wheelie bin type thing in it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
So big belly bins have been removed.
Yeah, can you
Yeah,
leave
but
that with us? I was totally unaware of that, so we'll look into that.
Yeah, because there's a bigger issue there. We've spent a fortune of these across the city.
Yeah.
Remember, we took all the bins out after all that rigmarole, and we can't be going around taking them out. Anyway, yeah, I'll leave it with you, Marianne, but that's not on, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. That was it for me. Anyone else have? Aaron, Nicola?
I got a doozy the other day. So that it's a surprise one. It was a signage one. You'll know it, Jason, because Lucy, it's in our area. So on Sawyers Arms Road and Harewood Road, there's a black and white sign about this big on a corner of Crofton Road that says pears for sale. And it's got an arrow because there's some people that live down off Crofton Road that have got an orchard that's been there about 75 years and they sell pears at this time of year. And someone complained to council and that's a breach of our signage bylaws. And so they got a notice from council that the signs had to be removed by today, that you can't advertise pears for sale in Christchurch. It's a clear breach of our signage bylaws, which is a bit of a nonsense bylaw, given it's the rural interface. That's the side of the road they're on. Then you're not allowed to chop it up and put houses in because it's the rural interface in the airport. But there's pears going there that they can't sell because you've got to take your sign in. So I thought it was a bit of nonsense. I sent it through to the CE and the mayor. I haven't heard back, but I told the people, whatever you do, don't take your signs away because that's just absolute rubbish. And they only have them out for a month or two because that's your pear season's over in a month. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, but anyway, that's how welcome we are for some retired people to make some money out of their pears.
Cheers, Aaron.
I was just going to say it's a shame, but absolutely totally understandable that our event tonight, Kia ora Bruno, was cancelled. But we just want to acknowledge all the hard work that the staff and everyone has put in for the event. It's a shame that our postponement date is also looking probably worse than today. So thanks for that. But in saying that, we have another event that's coming up on March the 9th, and it's our Kia ora Brindwa Connect at Kendall Abs. Oh, sorry, Kia ora Burnside. Sorry, yes, thank you. Connect at Kendall on Kendall Ave, and that's on March the 9th. So we're really hoping that goes well, and we welcome all our board members to attend, to come along and help out. So that's fantastic, and so thank our staff for all the amazing work that they do at that. So that's all I want to say on that. But just one thing I wanted to talk about, summer with our neighbours. Really interesting. I was walking around the streets the other day, and in a letterbox there was a leaflet that said, welcome to some of your neighbours, and somebody in 2 streets over had invited all the neighbours, just went round and put pamphlets in their letterbox and invited them to one of the events. And I just thought that was absolutely, I've never seen that before. Usually it's, you know, you'd say, come, it's a street, but they'd actually gone to the effort of making these beautiful little flyers, delivered them and invited about 3 or 4 streets. So that's wonderful. So that's really great.
Fantastic. All right, if we have nothing
Jason, I just have-
else, Sam,
sorry,
you have
Jace.
something?
Just one really quickly. Draft annual plan has been adopted by council. The rates increase is about 7.9% at the moment, so it's still far too high. But there will be options. So hopefully, I'm sure the board will be submitting on it. And obviously, I'm not involved in the submission, but it might be useful to suggest that the surplus is applied to rates reduction, which is a strong theme we get from people in our community.
Cheers, Sam. Thanks for that. Anything from you, James?
No, all good. Thanks, Jason.
All right, with that then, we will close the formal part of the meeting. So we'll stand for the closing karakia.
Unuhia, unuhia, unuhia ki te uru tapanui, kia wā te a, kia māma, te nākau, te tinana, te wairua i te ara takata. Koia ha e rongo, whakakairea ake ki runga. Kia tina, hui e, tai kia.
Thank you. And with that, we close the meeting at 5:28 PM. Thank you very much, everybody.